This day 190 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, be greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we're doing Simon Kuf Lamed Zayin, Sifim Aleph Tehei. Kam Psukim Tzarech Likros Min Pasuk. How many psukim do you have to read, and if you skip the pasuk? Al Fridays Bar Bracing Kuf Lamed Shmei Konas Ezra Shloich Kol Pachas Me'asar Psukim Sheni Chamish Shabbos Minchal Klasa Gavrin B'Tam Mishis Baruch. We explain. Monday, Thursday, Shabbos Mincha, 3 Lios for 10 psukim. Pasi Dabar Garkin Elmin Amin, Pasi Dabar Shem Shalem, where it appears, is one of the 10 psukim. But Avagav Shem Bodavar Prati, even though it has a specific concept to it, independently, Kam Torah, you never listen, it's part of the Torah. If even one letter of that pasuk was missing, I took Torah Psula, the Torah is possible. Avagav, the Purim, Shakram Bavav and Lake, even though I'm putting read nine psukim in the parsha of Vayavo Amalek. Why does that work? Shani also nigmar inya, that's because there the matter is concluded. V'laschil b'kodem b'nanachet, to start it was something previously, which is not the same Indian. In order to they didn't want to do it. Besides this, there's time b'Yushalmi. Yushalmi gives the reason for Yisha asamasek katua, since they want to do a deed of cutting off. Amalek wanted to cut off the power of the Jews. That's why his parsha is cut off. The Shabur adds, it says in the pasuk, Kiara case called Mechmal Hashem Amalek Dor Dor. It says case instead of kisei. It says Yud Kain instead of Yud Kevavke. And kisei Shalom and Hashem Shalom. Actually, Machazaru Shalom Amalek. The name is not complete, and Hashem's name is not complete until Amalek is destroyed. That's why the parsha is cut off. What he doesn't mention here is Parshas Hazinu. Hazinu also, our minute today is to do 9 psukim in Hazinu. So evidently, there's a similar idea that I guess that's one Indian. I don't know exactly what the rationale is, but maybe he will speak about it later on. Okay. In brackets. Hatam Rishon comes with a set of Megillah Chavav and base. The reason of one Indian. But Tamashe Avila base says what has Mushambi. The Torah Chataz Besef Kata Aleph. Ainsham. The Lomit says he turns to Mushambi. As very often Yerushalmi, which is quoted, does not exist in Yerushalmi. Other Yerushalmi Perakoi a little base before Kataisvis. Part for a Parshamali, Tarich Shani, Shisidur Shayam, Ayin Sham Tzarchim. So very often we find, as I believe there's a list in the last volume of the Yerushalmi in the Rome edition, of places where we show him and places can quote Yerushalmis, which we don't have. Base became a change of psukim to Lazo Gavri. He wants to 3 10 psukim for 3 people. The male Arba psukim. Of course, one person will get 4 psukim. There's no specific impediment who should read the 4. So they can divide up as they please. But time reasons each one has an advantage. The first one is the first. The third one is the highest because you go up in Kedusha. And the middle one is the Ma'alav should be Menorah. And the Menorah, the Ner Ma'aravi, the middle candle, was the most chashuv. So therefore, they want to attribute the 4 to any one of these, since each one is a Ma'alav. So not specifically the first. Unlike they're going to then should be a specific order. They didn't make any order for the amount of psukim. Avshalom at time shalotu is the dafka echad kacher koreosam. It's possible to say the reason that they didn't want to make a specific set or pattern. When somebody else reads them, the psukim, then you have to give the cover to the first one. But the Kriya in the Torah, at the time, Bisman Gemara, he says, they themselves would read. And are not concerned with the cover of the person against that Leah, because anyway he's not reading. And so therefore, because there are 2 reasons. A, that all of them are chashuv, and also because they're not reading themselves anyway. So therefore, Chachamim didn't want to give a set pattern for it. It says Gamatosh Kori even now when a person, I'm sorry. Oh, I got that wrong. The second reason I got wrong. That's not time to to bezet. Dafka echad korei osam, acher korei osam, tzarich lo kol rishon. If somebody else is reading them, like we do, then you have to give cover to the first person. Have a kriya b'tar olim b'atzmon karim, but back then the olim themselves read. Shkachli was manak mara. That was the way it was. The lo chashchol the that came and she's tamim bezeh. Chachamim didn't want to determine when people get aliyos because and read themselves. Obviously, some people can read better, some people can read worse, so on and so forth. So they didn't want to say who gets the maximum, who gets the minimum. So gamatov shakori korei mitam shel koachad yesh maila. No, so now we can't share. But even though we have a baal korei, we ourselves may read. Nevertheless, since each one's a maila, we don't change it. Which the Bura says actually that now Shel Tzibur reads for us. It says we should. Those say the Rishon should get 3 psukim and the Achron should get 4. Because that there are other people who argue. So there's really it's still random. There's a brackets. He says Ulai Zel Tamar Shal Shevi Among everyone you can have Nachshav Shachazon Krei Leikra Lemta Arba Shlevai Sharish Achron Varish Rishon. It's interesting. Marshal says don't read to the middle. Now the Shel Tzibur reads for us, so then the middle one should never have 4 psukim. So in order not to give a busha, so the one who came before after him, Akal Shem Miskash coming also, they understand what he's doing, but the Ibrahim to him, and what they wrote is also astounding. He was like the toast to us. So it says the Rishon, it seems to be a mistake. And so it should say, means Shalo Yavai Sharisha. That's embarrassed the first one. Klamar Kamo Be'esma Kriya Sharishon Yosem Mechubad. Just like in the Kriya itself, Rishon is more mechubad. So therefore, we don't want to embarrass the Rishon by giving the second, the fourth pasuk. V'abachik shaminoi. Abach asked, how do we know that you don't give the middle one? The fourth psukim. Basically, what I wrote works out well with good reasoning. I appreciate the Rabbi Biu Giros Acheres B'Marashal. They bring Dimerich Giros B'Gakin Ein Tam Ayin Sham. Marashal doesn't stand there Giros. And here's like near Kosh Kasavti V'Duk. Okay, Gimel V'da. The Rashi Zal Kosim Kilo Sham Zal Shono. Im Yesh Lem Revach B'Parsha. If there's enough psukim in the parsha to distribute, Kol Echad Me'am Ar Psukim, each one gets 4 psukim. Kulam Mishubachim. They're all praiseworthy. Arkal Shono. And maybe it says what he's saying. Although b'chol sedger says you have a b'chol sedger Arukh HaRbei, and every sedger there's room to give for 4 psukim for aliyos. But the lama bemis l'thilah chachamim. In fact, why did chachamim make 12 psukim for laning 4? Avayim shu tirchat tzibura 2 extra psukim. You didn't want to cause the tzibur that anguish. So if that's the case, how can I have each one 4 psukim? If we don't want to do it because of Tirchat Tzibura. The Kavanas Rashi Litmoa Minhag Shalonu. So since he says the Rashi is astonished at our minhag. The Parshas basis shall Levi Kori Rak Shulchan Psukim. We'll read bracious. Levi reads 3 psukim. But Kohen Kori Arba, and the Kohen reads 4 psukim. But Yisrael Chamesh, so reads 5 psukim Atzi Shapir. That's okay, even though it's uneven. The Shami is Psuchos. They're actually parshas between each day. You can't. Since it can't end less than 3 parshas before the end of a parsha, less than 3 psukim before the end of a parsha. So therefore, that's the only way to split it up. B'shika echad, shika echad shtei parshas chashiv shum tircha the tzibura, and that one of them should read 2 parshas. Go on to the 4th day. That would be tircha the tzibura. Avo b'noach. Kohen Korei 8 psukim. Kohen reads 8. Levi so Kohen Korei Shlosha. Why don't we distribute the wealth? Right? They're 16 psukim, 8 and 6, 14 psukim. So give 3, 40 psukim is 4, 4, 5, not 446, or 455. According to Shlosh Psukim Levi, Shisha Psukim. Lecha also it's uneven. 3 for the Kohen, 6 for the Levi. And there's no interruption with the end of a parsha, with an open parsha, which is blank the end of the line, or a parsha stuma, where the words start 9 spaces later. So that can't be the reason over there, because we're dividing up the aliyah arbitrarily. This is also a question about several other parshas. Omer, everybody says Rashi. Therefore, Rashi says that there's enough space, everybody should be 4 psukim. But that's not our minhag. So, in essence, revach has 2 meanings, both space and opportunity. There was just no set minhag. Once we have a set minhag, it won't work for us. Parshas Vayelech. Sheikh Rak Tisha Psukim. I remember that Zeno. I didn't remember Vayelech. Shayisrael Messiah Melkozik Neso Bensham Asor Psukim. B'chadashim Yikar Mipas Be'emas Sidurim. And a new Sidurim they published Taka Hashlishi Ad L'Rishta. So you should go further several Psukim. But that's not the minhag. So this answer which gives will work for Azino, because it's a small sedra. 30 psukim vayelech. V'ad l'rishta yeh arba parshas k'mar chatzi sedra. And if you go to the rishta, it's 4 parshas. It's almost half of the sedra. Ein achol masos kein. It's not appropriate to do that. Kein l'shem Shabbos you go also opam. Shabbos could read it again. L'chein nidona k'parshas v'ev amalek. The mikra yisrael l'kinyana. That's why since we have a small parsha, we don't read most of the parsha weekday. So it's called, we got the Indian Tzarech Iyum. It's not clear. Mr. Bura says now the minhag has become widespread that we read by Mincha Shabbos and Sheni Chamishi, or the entire parsha, first parsha of the Seder, in other words, till Sheni, as we find Sidurim. And it's noted where you divide it up in 3. And it changes, but if you change that order, which is printed in the Sidurim, it's not an impediment, you don't say. But you shouldn't have less than 3 psukim for any one person. Says the Arukh HaShulchan in the brackets, it's a strange minhag. Some people have anasa. Shemam Shivcha Yisrael lahalami ben Aaron HaKohen. The Yisrael goes further than ben Aaron HaKohen. Shemish psukim harbe. I already have made psukim. Ain't tzorach say you don't have to need it. They go after Vayil Levim. It's not necessary. So again, today we have a minute like Mishnah Berurah that we always go to Sheni, when possible, or it's not possible to go even further to Shlishi. But so therefore, he must be talking about specifically where there is a where there is no minhag to and I guess they didn't have minhag in this place to read till Sheni, and therefore they would go over, and there was no reason to do so. No, that's not. I think it means like this: that they got to them psukim 14, 12 psukim long before they got to Sheni. So the question is why they went on to Sheni. Wasn't necessary. Shmuel says that's our minhag, but evidently Arukh HaShulchan did not have such a minhag, because he asked, why would you have to go on beyond the 12 psukim? If you skip the pasuk in the middle of Kriya on by Shabbos, for Monday or Thursday, or by Shabbos Mincha, which are all not part of the necessary Seder. Without the skip pasuk, you don't go back. Kriya Zuba Shabbos. You're going to read this on Shabbos anyway. If not, you go back. Could be that 9 psukim are enough. You would have had 10, but you messed one out. Since you would have had 3, 3, 4, so then had you not skipped, and now it's only 3, 3, 3, that's okay. Our Masel bring out Mashal Dina Dav Sora Davko. He's specifically 10. Came with Shekhinah Takana because that was the Takana of Moshe Rabbeinu and Bezra. But you have to be on Tezvav Psukim, and you have to require 15 Psukim corresponding to the 5 Aliyos. Came to Sham Chisha Kruim. Avo b'Shabbos Shachris b'Chol Inyan Chozer v'Korei. Shabbos Shachris, if you missed a pasuk, you skipped a pasuk, and it doesn't matter if you have enough kruim, you go back and read again. If you gamar shiva kruim below pasuk say, even if you finish all 7 kruim without this pasuk, you go back to that pasuk. Mishabura writes that specifically if the skip was in the first aliyos, if the skip was in the 7th aliyah, and certainly if the skip was in the additional aliyos on the 7, you don't have to go back and make a bracha, because the maftir is going to go get an aliyah in any event, and he'll start from the skipped bracha pasuk and go to the end of the parsha. Sharatzion writes that even if by skipping, there won't remain in the 7th aliyah 3 psukim, and therefore you won't have a shvi. Gamge Yossi Yotze by the maftir. I guess in a pinch the maftir counts part of the 7. Anyway, back to the Arukh HaShulchan. It says, if it's on Shabbos, you forgot a pasuk, even if you put the Torah back, it's said Kaddish already. They've already done Musaf. They have to go back. This pasuk remains without being read. Without a bracha. One person makes a bracha before, and then you read the pasuk with 2 other psukim. Wow. And make a bracha afterwards. So the family Mesech Sofrim. There are 2 psukim shemosim al pasuk zeh. 2 psukim he adds achar pasuk zeh should be after this pasuk. Achim pasuk zeh should delay kod and parsha psucha ostuma. But if it's this pasuk he skips at the end of a parsha, you have to start obviously 2 psukim before. Hey, made a mistake. Only read him 2 psukim. Havi commercial occurrence as if he didn't read. The brachasav levatola. It's brachasav. Sarchli cross opam elu, but opam elu shnei psukim o pasuk echad. He has to read those 2 psukim plus another pasuk. V'Shabbos yochal acher lalos likros. On Shabbos somebody else can go up and read, just as Aliyah was missed. The Mishabura says if the second guy already got Aliyah before they noticed the mistake, so the second guy goes back, and the second guy, second guy goes back, and then the first guy should get an Aliyah, I guess, because first Aliyah was Batola. If the second guy already went down from the table, then they can call anybody. If the mistake is by Kohen and already the Sheni went up and he's a Levi, he continues to place the Kohen stop, and then 2 Yisraelim come up to make up the count. I'm not sure about that second Mishnah, where the second guy already went up and made the bracha, the second completes it, and then the Rishon goes. No, so he's saying like this. I wasn't sure because it wasn't right. The first guy did his 2 psukim. He made bracha before and after. Bracha Batol, it turns out. They already called up the second guy. The second guy goes and keeps reading whatever he's supposed to read. After the second guy finishes, the first guy comes back to make a bracha and read a full 3 psukim. Okay. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. He made a mistake. He's the one who goes back himself to do it, right? We just discussed. Shmuel says named Eliyahu Rabbah, so that later on it's going to be clarified that he has to make a bracha before and after. So he places his bracha, which was the Batol. Like you're adding to the 3 aliyos. But Shabbos Avil Korok Kfar Shir Kruim, even if they read 7 aliyos, ain't a moil. Doesn't work. It's like these 2 psukim were not read and didn't get a bracha. These kutecha v'achar shebirach, this kutecha v'achar shebirach bracha achroida v'dayin lo kor acher. But immediately after you finish the last bracha and somebody has not yet been called up, answer the bracha lefaneh. In that case, he doesn't need a bracha before. El shazu achroida, so Batol would just consider as if the aliyah continues and the last bracha was the bracha Batol. Oh, pasuk echad, they're waiting for him no more pasuk. Bracha achar makes the bracha after that. Only if they remembered after the other guy came up, then Also, Shnei Barachos, of course, something they require two brachas like we wrote before. Commissioner Burr is not sure about this halacha, but Arukh HaShulchan is about where they found that he skipped right after Li was over. So we can go to Arukh HaShulchan. Brackets. Still, you can shoot another person. Flow mash mechanic Arukh HaShulchan rejects this. The rabbis who can say cholik abayin shop. The rabbi says, "Mashal rabbi cholik amalatas really having this kutech of tzarich bracha pagam fareh." They mentioned, remember the immediately needed bracha before as well. Ein shamli is died to ikar kataz. The baskets like the taz that you read the pasuk afterwards, and you don't need to have a preceding bracha, just the second bracha at the end of the third pasuk.